Welcome to Women Championing Women. I'm Alexa Zimberg, Executive Vice President of the Palmer Group. This week on WCW, we're talking about how successful women entrepreneurs raise funding. I am thrilled to welcome Katie Powers, an account manager at WeFunder and co-host of WeFunder's Adventure Capital podcast, as this week's champion guest moderator. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Katie, tell us a little bit more about your background and how you got into equity crowdfunding.
Yeah, so I've been involved with startups and social enterprises for a few years now. So I studied international affairs and economics at Northeastern and pretty quickly discovered that working for startups and businesses that have some sort of social impact was super inspiring, super interesting, and really effective. I worked on the Kiva US team. Kiva is a small nonprofit that does microfinance lending with small businesses. We were helping to fund businesses with anywhere between 1,000 and 10,000 and really expand access to their capital and help them grow their businesses. Seeing the impacts of the different founders that we worked with and people being able to grow their business from like a tiny push cart that sells egg rolls, for example. One of my favorite founders now has a brick and mortar location and has been able to just like completely expand her business with a tiny loan from maybe, 25 people that helped her get started. So when I learned of WeFunder, which is doing something very similar, we're an equity crowdfunding platform that's funding businesses anywhere between 50,000 and 5 million in debt or equity. I was super stoked about being able to deliver this impact on a much larger scale.
Many women are trying to figure out how to get their foot in the door and begin the conversation around funding. Why is crowdfunding a good option for women founders?
Yeah, so crowdfunding is relatively new, I would say, and especially the startup funding landscape. Equity crowdfunding became legal as of 2016. And so a lot of people are kind of still figuring out how it can work for them. With women specifically, historically, VC funding has only, or 3% of VC funding has actually been allocated to women. And that number actually decreased in 2020 with COVID. So a lot of women are spending a lot of time pitching VCs and getting rejections or getting the door slammed in their face or not getting favorable terms. And that can be extremely demoralizing when starting a business itself is like so hard to begin with. So with equity crowdfunding, it tends to be a lot different. It tends to be a little bit more inclusive. With WeFunder, for example, about 22% of our portfolio contains female founders. So we're really able to funnel more capital into women using our network of about 1 million angel investors. We have a mix of accredited and unaccredited investors. So female founders are really able to leverage the experience and also the power of the crowd versus, really just honing in on VCs only.
Katie, do you have any tips or tricks for female entrepreneurs as they grow their business?
Yeah, definitely. I think having confidence and cultivating confidence is probably the biggest thing because it is super hard to start a business, and women historically and more typically have this imposter syndrome of not feeling like they're ready or they're capable or whatever. So cultivating confidence and hand in hand with that is really surrounding yourself with a community of founders that can push you to be better, act as a support network, and really just kind of help you keep your head in the game as you are dealing with the ups and downs of starting a business.
Katie, thank you so much for being here. I am looking forward to our Women Championing Women Salon on June 23rd.